It's Tehatchbot time, Key Budge. Joining me today, Chris Morales. Chris, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Key?
I'm doing excellent.
Good.
And you've been on the show numerous times. We've talked about all kinds of things that were going on stage.
Yes.
Things that you were involved in.
Yes.
And I'm so excited that we're about to announce.
Yes, my new studio.
Yes. It's going to bring all your passions together, and you get to share those with everybody.
I do.
On a daily basis.
I do. It's been a long time coming. Let's just put it that way. The name of the studio is called White Rabbit Studios, and it's right off of Mill Street across from the Mountain Coffee House. And super excited about it. I've been wanting to do this for so long because I'm a creative, and I've worked with TCTA for many years. I've been on the stage at BK for many years, and I've worked with kids over at Cummings Valley, and I'm currently there at Valley Oaks teaching drama. And, you know, kids need outlets, and adults need outlets. And then I started thinking, we need a small venue place, something less than 50 people. And there's big venue places. Slice of Life has been fantastic, and other areas, Dorners and all kinds of places. They're beautiful and they are fantastic. But you pay for those places.
Right.
And at White Rabbit, you don't have to pay that really high price for a small venue under 50 people. So we can offer you quite a bit. And so we're very excited about that. Plus, of course, all the classes that we're about ready to undertake.
I think I'm excited about all the classes. I didn't even realize the venue aspect. But when you talk about venues, we do not have enough venue space. You said it. It's exactly right. You're always looking for that right size fit. And so with this, how many square feet are you going to have as a venue?
It's actually 1,500 square feet.
Okay.
And it's got a big open space where you can put the tables. We have about 30 fold-up chairs and several of the big 6-foot tables. It's got a small, not small, but it's a good-sized kitchenette area. You can put all your hors d'oeuvres and fun things out there for people to eat. And then I've got 2 separate studio rooms that if you want to use it for a changing room, if you're doing a bridal thing or baby shower, you want to put gifts in there and then bring them out later. Whatever you want to do, I have that. I've got a big wall that you can put a big backdrop on if you want to. We've got Wi-Fi for all the music if you want to pump that in. I can bring in some people to play if someone wants to do that, a little 3-piece band. Or I've got Allison Reynolds coming next week. She's an electric cellist. So we've got many options and opportunities to make someone's event pretty exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun, actually.
Now, so with these events, you're going to start to announce these special things that are going on. So you've got the electric cellist that's coming.
Yes.
Are you going to be doing that via social media? How are we going to stay in tune with you?
So social media for sure. And then we have a website already, which is whiterabbitstudios.org. And you can go on there and start seeing all these things. And we'll start putting those things up there once we have our big grand opening, which is happening on November 13th with the Chamber.
Okay, great. Okay, I got to put that on the calendar. I haven't got that yet, so I'll put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
And then the following week, on the 21st, we're going to have coffee with the mayor. So maybe when we're all done, we can swing over, get a behind-the-scenes tour.
Sure,
okay.
Absolutely, you can do that. And it's open, the fun thing about, I don't know, I've been a community person for a really, really long time. And I believe that if you live here, and you have something that you're passionate about, like you're passionate about what you do here, and this has been such a great venue for all of us, that you should really share that. And once you share that, it just kind of grows. And so now it's kind of growing to where people not only want to take acting classes, there are improv classes, the kids can go there through charter schools, all that kind of stuff. But now people are looking at it like a small meeting place. Can I just have like 10 people here and we need to meet for a couple of hours to meet about whatever it is? Absolutely. Absolutely. The pricing, in my opinion, it's not about trying to take the money from you. It's about offering a space, but I do have to pay my rent, keep the lights on, but our dollars are nothing. So, for instance, like it's 1,500 square feet. If you want to rent it for 3 hours, it's $350. If you want to rent it for 5 hours, it's $500. And that's it. If you need more to go with that, then that would be on top of. You want to cater it. Right. You want music on top of that. You need to do some kind of a PowerPoint presentation and you want to bring a speaker in, we'll have probably to get some gear or something like that to put up there to make that happen. That might be a little additional charge. But really, we're just trying to make it so that it's available, it's easy, and when you come in there, you know that you can take a class that's inexpensive, you can rent it for inexpensive, and you can enjoy yourself in a safe area.
Very nice. So you're going to have an a la carte menu.
Yep.
So we kind of pick and choose what we need for our special meeting.
Yes.
And you'll be able to hook us up.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. It's kind of like a restaurant without having all the the food. Just a menu of things.
Well, what happens if we need food?
Oh, then we'll ask
Bring it in?
Yeah, we'll bring it in. We'll ask Pete Ups to cater it, or Claire Scotty with her wonderful charcuterie, or I don't know. We'll get somebody.
You'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
I love that.
I don't worry about it.
Well, let's talk about the classes, because that, to me, when I heard about you were going to offering acting classes and having the music, it was just going to be like, oh my God, this is such a great location for it. Mm-hmm. And I just know that your talent, everything that you've been involved in, it just brings something special to this. So let's talk about that.
Well, I've been in acting for a long time. Whether it's in theater or it's in television commercials. And I've done stand-up and improv with some really wonderful people in my life. And to me, improv really is sort of a key for a lot of people to be able to speak in front of people, and confidence, and to think quickly. Sometimes when you're in front of people, they're talking to you about something and you go blank and you're just not sure. Improv kind of stirs that for you. You can just all of a sudden just come up with something and keep that conversation going. So I thought, let's bring that into the mix for kids, build their confidence. Some are very shy. Some have anxiety, some don't, are very withdrawn. And improv actually kind of helps them. They see that support from other people. They take a chance, and then it just sort of blossoms from there. So I thought, let's do improv for kids and for adults. And then maybe, just maybe, we can put an improv troupe together and we can perform it at the BK Theater, and have this wonderful improv thing, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyways, or any of those improv shows that have been on TV for a long time. But the acting part of it also is so many adults and so many kids want to be a star. Right? I want to be a musician. I want to be an actor. I want to, whatever it is. And I applaud that. I wanted to too. Right? But you can't get there without tools.
Right.
And you can't get there without support. And you can't get there without knowing some basic things. And so why not learn those basic things? Why not get that confidence? Why not have someone show you the better way to go about it than what you think is the better way? Because 9 times out of 10, you get about 5 seconds in front of a producer and they say goodbye.
Right.
And you're like, what did I do wrong? It's such a short period of time that you have to make that impact.
Right.
So I want to train actors and upcoming actors for TV and stage and all that kind of stuff. I want to show that to kids and get that confidence going. So when they audition for BK Theater stuff or any place else around or go for a commercial, that they're ready. They're ready to go. And that's because I gave you some tools. It's not the greatest. I'm not the end all, but you got some tools.
I think it's going to be, you're going to be overwhelmed with the amount of people that want to participate.
I hope so.
I mean, with what I've seen in this resurgence, I don't know if it was COVID, whatever it was, but it seems, at least from my perspective, and you tell me from being on the inside at TCTA, that there is even more of an audience that is paying attention at the local level here and looking for the live connection to the arts.
Right.
And it just seems to me that there's a lot of butts and seats over at the BK.
Yeah.
And there's more people that want to be involved.
There is. And, my involvement with TCTA, being on the board for several years, and then the city really jumping in and helping us, you've been such a huge, huge support system for us. That has really put more butts in the seats. And by seeing that, I always ask people when I've directed a show, how many people, this is their first time here at the theater? And so many hands will go up. And you kind of wonder, why is that? Is it because you don't like live theater because it's had a bad rap or whatever it is? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You came. You got there. You walked in the door. Now it's our job to keep you. so that you want to come back. And it's kind of the same thing with a lot of these smaller places like the local breweries and things like that, having the live music and everything. There's creative people in our community that we have no idea of the talent. And those people are giving them an outlet. And that's what I want to do. I want to give an outlet, but I also want to train some people so that they can be better at what they do when they get in front of a live audience. Because live audiences, man, they're going to applaud you, or they're going to, like, that was fun, but I'm sorry I spent $20 on that.
Right.
It's okay. So I want to show you how you can keep them and how you can keep them coming back.
Yeah.
So that's what my studio is going to be about.
Well, I'm excited about it. And I think that, just there's so many, and it seems to be more youthful. I'm seeing even so many kids, and they are looking for this kind of an expression that they can start to learn. So I'm excited that you're going to be teaching.
Well, thank you. I think you kind of touched a little bit on it with COVID, because, that really shut down a lot of our kids.
Right.
Those kids were at home all the time. And yes, we have acreage here in Tehachapi that we can go outside and play, and we didn't have to worry about it because we're not in the city. But those kids still needed to have more kids. Right. They still needed to be able to assess and kind of figure things out the way kids do, and sort of have their own system of how I'm going to say, I appreciate what you did, or that doesn't really make me feel very good. And when you're shut down like that, then a lot of your tools get shut down. A lot of your emotions get shut down. So acting is a great way to bring that out. And for kids, I think Donnie with Tada was really, doing a fabulous job. Tada's not available anymore, but Liz Teedy, one of the teachers for White Rabbits, myself, David Stenstrom is going to be a teacher for White Rabbits, and we have a slew of people that are going to be teachers. Sharon Slayers is going to be a teacher, John Weir for guitar, possibly Fiona Nelson might be doing our piano. We've got a lot of people that are hearing about it that want to bring their expertise. So this isn't just about kids teaching kids. This is about tapping into the passion of adults who are creatives, who want to work at White Rabbit Studios and give that back to kids, to adults, to whomever wants to walk through those doors. And that's exciting.
It is. It's amazing the level of talent that lives here in Tehachapi, and professional talent. Yeah. Those that have been there, done that,
right,
and are now kind of in that chill mode. But they're like, I've got something that I can share.
Yeah.
And you constantly find those people that are willing to step in, step up and teach.
Right.
And it's, for me, it's really exciting.
It is exciting. I think it was last year, and he was a student of mine over at Valley Oaks. Jamie Utoff and I were teaching a drama class over at Valley Oaks. Not last year, well, it was last year, but in 2020, before we all kind of really shut down.
Right.
We did a show over at the BK, which was called Robin Hood. And there was a young boy there, and I won't say his name, but there was a young boy there, and super shy, did not want to be part of it at all. And he decided to be part of the production of Robin Hood. And I was just like, okay, let's do this. And he was great. I don't even think he realized what he had inside of himself. But because he felt safe amongst his peers with Jamie and myself, he blossomed. And it's unfortunate he's not with us today. He actually passed on.
Oh.
But that warmed my heart to know. And, it's one of those things where I don't care if you're good. I don't care. I don't care if you're tall, you're fat, you're short, you got blue eyes, blonde hair. I don't care. I just care that you get up there and you show me that you want to. And then you can take it from there.
Right.
Right? And that's what he did. And I share that story a lot with students that I work with, because there are a lot of them that are very shy. I was very shy when I was a kid. People don't believe that, but no, I was not going outside. But something about theater. There's something about the magic of that touches people in a different way, and it brings something out in them. And if you have that support system, then they can go a long ways. They could be a rocket scientist down the road, but that's going to get them there.
It opens the door. It opens their mind. Mm-hmm. And we were watching a friend perform singing recently, and talking about, I go, once you started, you were a little nervous, but you all of a sudden owned it.
Yeah.
And the confidence, and you stepped into that space of like, this is my space.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it's really, when someone is owning it, and like, and you can't help but feel that energy and get into it. And I don't know, is that something that's tough to teach? Is that confidence in I know for myself, like when I'm doing the show, I've got to feel, and I've got to expend a little bit more energy.
Right.
I've got to project a little bit more than I would if you and I were just talking on the street, because I want the energy to translate to those that are listening.
Right.
But it's been one of those things I've had to learn to do. It
is because it's our head.
Right.
It's all in our head. And for so long, our head has said, I don't think you're good enough, or, oh, no, they're better than you, or, oh, I didn't practice, or I'm not too sure. And it's our head. And once, it was, I forget the teacher's name, but he said, you get into this freak factor, right? Once you let go of your head, you get into this freak factor where it doesn't matter what it is, and you're just this little person. You're the little freak running around doing whatever it is because there's no inhibitions anymore. The creative person is allowed to come out, and you're allowed to open up and think of other things because you're not stopping yourself. So you kind of have to get in there, right? And so when I have students like that, or when I do teach, I don't force anything on anybody. I just compliment you. I just absolutely compliment you on everything that you're doing right, because there's really no wrong in creating. There really isn't. It's just, how am I going to change it, or craft it so that it's stronger, so it's more perfected, so it just kind of glides in there and people accept it. But there's no wrong in creativity. Creativity is whatever anybody wants it to be. So don't stop yourself in your head by saying, no, that doesn't look good. Absolutely, it looks great. It looks great to me. Now let's refine it. Let's find those parts in there that we need to highlight and then make it stronger. And that's how you become more confident. And that's the barrier that you break to try to get people to be stronger in front of other people.
And I can see with the way what you're describing, it's an individual. You really have to connect or understand with that student that's in front of you, that actor, and I can tell that you've directed numerous times, and you understand how to tap in and pull that out and talk that language that connects to that person to get more.
Right.
And I mean, that's obviously the goal in teaching, and for the student is to learn. But I can already just tell in just this quick conversation that you understand how to connect with people on an individual level and start to pull.
Yeah, I love people. People are really cool. They're all crazy. In my world, a lot of people are just crazy. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But you all have something really wonderful to say and to share. And I learn so much if I just listen. And that's part of directing, is you have to really listen to the actor. And the actor is telling you something by their body or their facial expression, or if their arms are crossed or not, the way they walk, the way they're, having attention with you or not having attention with you. They're telling you those things. So you have to kind of key in there to keep them, because a lot of actors are very ADD. We see something shiny and we're done. We got it, we say, but we don't. You have to really find a way to tap into that part of their crazy and make it all make sense to them. I was talking with one of the kids on the new show that's coming out of the BK, which is Oliver. And I said, what you need to do? You need to wear a top hat. You're playing a regular, I think he's playing Dodger or whatever. You need a top hat. And that's going to make all the difference in the world for you. You'll really believe that you're Dodger. And he's like, where do I get a hat? I said, well, you have to ask the costume people, and they'll get that hat for you. And as soon as he put that hat on, his whole demeanor changed. Why? Because we don't wear hats like that.
Right.
Right? And they're tall, and now I got to figure out how I'm going to walk and dance and sing and interact with this hat on my head. So that takes you out of your head, and now it takes me into the hat.
Right.
And the hat's Dodger. And so now he's more comfortable about being Dodger. Another one was worried about an accent, having a Cockney accent or English accent. Who cares? Whether you have it or you don't. What's most important is how you're going to deliver those lines. We'll worry about that accent later. But let's get the feeling of the lines first. And then when you're coughing or you're acting old and sick, you can throw a couple of those words in there that sound like you're from London or wherever you're from. So people get fixated on the small stuff, but there's all this other stuff around there that you can start with that will get you to where you need to be.
Now, so is it similar with the musical aspect?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've never been musically inclined, but I'm very curious. Is that same that you're pulling from people and getting them to get out of their own heads, get out of their own way,
yep,
and let that creativity flow through their, the music that they're learning and wanting to share?
Yeah, I play piano, guitar, and drums, and I'm not the greatest at any one of them, but I can sure be in the band and make it happen with you. And I think a lot of what that is not being so fixated on, is that the right note? Did I hit the right chords? It's not so much that if you know the song, if you actually know the music, then you don't necessarily have to play every note. You can play chords to some of the stuff, because a lot of musicians just play chords these days. When it's coming to drums, you know what the beat is. Just keep the beat. Just keep it right there so the other instruments know how to stay in the song with you, because you're the percussion, you're the main one, right? And that beat is so important. So if you can stay in there, you can go off and improvise just a little bit. Don't go crazy. I was just talking to my drum teacher, and she was saying, do you think those drummers, like for the Police or for Talking Heads or whatever, do you think they play the same song the same way every single time? No, they don't. They did it once at the studio. It sounded great. Boom, they recorded it. And when they play it live, they're having a great time. They don't play it the same way all the time.
Yeah.
The same thing with stand-up comedians. I did stand-up for years. I never did my set the same way. The set was the same. The jokes are the same. The punchline is the same. But how I got there, I don't know. I got there the way I got there because it was the energy of the room. It was the feeling I got from someone sitting in front of me who said, hey, my dad's Mexican too. I'm like, really? Well, ¿qué pasa? And then it comes out, and then you get to the joke, and then you see what happens. So it doesn't necessarily have to be A, B, C all the time. But if you know the basics, then with improv, like I started, you can do whatever you need to do to get you there. And that's where confidence comes in. And then you feel more secure about just jumping in front of anybody, playing an instrument, acting, doing stand-up, whatever it might be. So that's what White Rabbits wants to teach.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
are you sold? Are you going to come take a class?
I'm sold. I don't know what. I don't know. Let's see. I've got art, guitar, voice, stage, acting, piano, improv.
Wow.
I don't know. Where do I fit in there?
Yoga? Can you do yoga?
I love doing yoga.
We're going to have yoga classes.
Oh, okay.
How about that? I was just talking to a yoga teacher on my way over here.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife and I would take yoga classes, and then you'd just be, elbows to elbows with people. Not enough room. It's like, I'm out. Yeah. And I lose, but I've always said we need more yoga studios. So you're going to offer that as well? Yeah,
we're going to offer yoga. I was just talking to a woman that I was given a name to, and I had no idea that I taught her daughter over at Valley Oaks. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a small world. And so we're going to meet next week, and we're going to talk about it, and she'll see the studio and see how we can work yoga into it. People want to use it for meditation classes, so we can work that into it. We're talking about ASL classes, so we might be able to offer that when we get a ASL teacher and instructor, that we can make that happen. And it's also one of those places where for people who are in AA, if you need a meeting spot for your AA, people use churches a lot for that. You can use White Rabbit Studios for your AA meetings. I know it's not a place that you can rent for lots of money, because a lot of that money goes to, I guess, their home office to help with other AA things. So it's not about the money. It's about the community finding a hub. We will find the dollars to make it work for you. As long as I'm making things work, I'm going to make it work for you too. But it's got to be the hub.
Oh, you're going to be busy.
I hope so. I want to be busy. White rabbits, white rabbits, white rabbits, which means good luck.
Is that so? Where does the name come from for you?
So when I was little, my mom used to jump in bed to wake me up so I could go to school, because I always overslept. And if it was the first day of the month, she would jump in there and she'd say, "White rabbits!" And she would scream in my ear, and I'm like, "Okay, white rabbits." And it meant good luck, so I'd have good luck for the whole month. Well, I looked it up many years later, and I believe in the UK they say rabbit, rabbit, which means good luck. And I've mentioned it to several people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, my mom would say white rabbit to me," or my grandma would say white rabbit to me. So it's been around for a long time. I just thought maybe I was special, but not that special. So, but it means good luck.
Very
good
nice.
Fortune, good luck.
Well, very cool. I knew there had to be a meaning behind that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now, how can people start to follow along? You said you've got a website now.
Got a website now. They can go on that, and they can check out all the classes. As far as the small venue rentals, there is an application on there that you can fill out online. As far as classes go, for like acting classes and improv classes, those classes are going to be groups. We'd like to have 5, 6, maybe 12 at the most in each class, and they'll be taught by myself or David Stenstrom or whomever else we have. And so the pricing for that, I believe, is $180 for the month. It meets once a week for 45 minutes, whatever day we have on there, and you get 45 minutes of solid acting, stage work, monologues, possibly script writing, improvisation a little bit because there is a separate improv class, and then also character building. So you'll get all of that with your acting class. The improv class, same price, same thing, once a week for, a 4-week period, $180. And you're going to learn a lot about sketch writing and the timing of it and the 1, 2, 3 punch and how to make that work. I'm an alumni for Second City Comedy and for Harvey Limbeck out in LA, and there's a lot to learn. Groundlings is a big name for LA, but that's a lot of character work, like a Pee Wee Herman and some of those famous characters that you would see. Steve Martin did a lot of that. But we won't concentrate on characters. We're going to concentrate on sketch work. So that's the improv part. And the voice and the guitar and the piano, those are one-on-one classes. And that's $145 for a 4-week class. And they're also 45 minutes long. So that's a one-on-one. Yoga is going to be group, obviously. And if we have ASL, that might be a group thing also. So we'll see how that progresses. So those are the pricing that's going to be on the website, along with the small venue pricing that's also on the website. You can call White Rabbit Studios. There is an answering machine because we're not always there. Leave a message. Try to get back to you within 48 hours. Until we're up and running, we will not have someone there constantly until the classes are up and running on a solid basis or until I can hire someone actually to be there. Probably like, 10 to 4 kind of a thing. But for right now, just leave your name and number and we'll definitely get back to you.
Okay, and that's 661-825-5209.
Yeah, that's my new number.
There you go. I already know it.
I know. It rolled right off your tongue, didn't you?
And then whiterabbitstudios.org.
Yes.
And more information and social media to follow?
Yes, on Facebook, Instagram. We're getting all that up and running right now. There's a grand opening on November 13th with the Chamber. Claire Scotty will be there. We're going to have Allison Reynolds there as a cellist. And we're also using White Rabbits as a studio for artists. So we will have Nikki Dyer there with her ceramics. We'll have Maxine Stenstrom there with her paintings. We're also going to have Colleen Farrell, who is a ceramist, and she teaches over at Valley Oaks. And possibly Jane, I think her last name, I can't remember right now, but she did the costumes for Moto. And she's also a painter. So we're going to use White Rabbit Studios as a gallery and as a showplace for artists who wants to do installations. And we can do a big whoop-de-doo with food and entertainment. But that will happen on the 13th. So you'll get a grand opening, you'll get music, you'll get a little yummy to eat, and you'll get to see some fantastic art from some of our local artists.
Very nice. Now, I do have one question.
Yes.
Okay, you've got 1,500 square feet to work in. How are you going to contain David Stenstrom to 1,500 square feet and that energy that he brings?
Right? Well, I have a little genie in a bottle that's going to hold on to him. I'm just going to pull him right in.
Good luck.
I know. I'm working with him right now. He's Fagin and Oliver. Mm-hmm. And so we've been going back and forth. We're both in the show. And he's playing Fagin. And he's doing a phenomenal job. You've got to go see Oliver, not only to see David as Fagin, but to see all the wonderful children that are doing Oliver. There's some phenomenal talent with our children out there. And as much as we didn't have a lot of boys audition for Oliver, so we're using girls dressed as boys. I have to tell you, there's a wonderful young talent. Her name is Serena Thornburg, and she is playing Oliver. I've got to tell you, she's something to watch. She's going to be phenomenal as Oliver.
I've had her on the podcast.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
And what a just incredibly intelligent.
Yes.
And she's just so well spoken.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised that she's made the move to the stage.
You know, she saw me when I did Igor in Frankenstein, and I thought I scared her because she was very young at that time.
Yeah.
And her mom said, no. She just couldn't take her eyes off of you.
Right.
And I'm like, I hope that's a good thing. I'm not real sure. And now here she is. She's blossomed, and now she's the lead. She's playing Oliver, and I can't be any more prouder than her. She is fantastic.
Well, I know she was there. Nina was working. She was volunteering. My wife and I were at one of the last shows, and she was there, helping Nina as she was volunteering.
Yeah.
And just saw her taking it all in.
Yeah.
Throughout you could just see her absorbing, the performance that was going on. So
yeah, we have a little scene together in the show, and I forgot my lines, or I got them mixed up or whatever, and she's whispering them to me. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. But it's been a lot of fun to see her blossom. Very good. Jason's doing a great job. Lisa Meredith is assistant directing. Lisa McKenzie's producing. We've got a lot of the board members. The new TCTA board members who are actually in the show. Amy Webster and Janet Wilson is in there. David Stenstrom, of course, not on the board, but he's in the show. So we've got some phenomenal support from the board again. And the city is, beginning of next year, we'll be doing the expansion in the back of the BK Theater. So the past board, the new board, everybody's super excited to have a better space down the road for our shows. Yeah.
And another little shout out to TCTA. I know Lisa Squared, the two Lisas that you mentioned.
Yes.
You brought them in, I think, they were stage moms, and then they were making that next little move to doing more, assisting, directing, and now they're really prominent members in less than a year.
Yeah.
And it just shows that this community, and the TCTA community especially, is so welcoming and encouraging of new people that are like, well, I'd kind of like to try that.
Right.
Well, let's make you try it. Let's do it.
That's right. And that's one of the things, like when I would do T-Town, it wasn't really about it's a great show, because T-Town never was a great show. T-Town was a show for talent. And then the 10-minute play festival over at the BK was really just an opportunity for 10 minutes. You're on stage for 10 minutes to do a little something. It was a scene, basically, that someone had written, a playwright had written, a local playwright or somewhere, and you did their 10-minute show. And that's what gets people in the door. Lisa McKenzie, her son Alex, wonderful talent. Lisa works with me over at Platinum Realty Group. She kind of went in there because her son was part of theater. Lisa Meredith was my student in acting class. She kind of got in there, and she's a great writer, by the way. And same with David Stenstrom. I met David when I was teaching an acting class. And David Faber, who was our president for TCTA, he was in my acting class back then. And these people just sort of gravitated, whether with me or because they got bit by the bug. And then they just stayed with TCTA, and they're doing phenomenal work today. I'm very proud of all of them.
Yeah, exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited for you, Chris.
Thank you.
White Rabbit Studios, November 13th.
Grand opening.
And so stay tuned with Chamber. We'll put things out. We will make sure we follow out and push out that information.
Great.
And we just invite everyone to check out what you have to offer. I know it's going to be exciting.
Thank you so much, Key. Really appreciate being here.
All right. Anything in closing that we haven't mentioned that you want to mention?
Thank you to Mary Jane Utley for all the great artwork, and she's also the partner with White Rabbits. She is phenomenal. You don't know who she is. She's very quiet, but she is fantastic.
Outstanding. All right, folks, there you have it. Chris Morales, her brand new business that she is opening over at 117 South Mill Street, right across from Mountain House Coffee. It opens November 13th with a grand opening. You can contact Chris at 825-5209. Go to whiterabbitstudios.org. And if you have a question, you can send it to us, and I'll make sure I get it to Chris at media@TehachapiCityHall.com. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll catch you again soon right here on Tehachapod.